Linkin Park took its start in Agora Hills, California, and was founded in 1996 by childhood friends Mike Shinoda and Mark Wakefield, who were soon joined by Brett Delson and Rob Burden, both of whom attended the same high school as Mike. After high school graduation, Mike enrolled in the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena to study graphic design and illustration. This is where he met Joseph Hahn, with whom Mike attended classes. In the meantime, Brett Delson met Dave Farrell at the University of California, with whom he shared a dorm room for 3 years. As part of his studies, Delson had an opportunity to intern with Jeff Blue, vice president of A&R coordination at Zomba Music, who gave constructive criticism to early work of Linkin Park. But back then, the band went by another name, Xero. As Xero, the group also got an artist development deal, which helped the band buy new equipment and get their music production to the next level. In 1998, Blue was also the one to recommend Chester Bennington as their lead singer and the final piece of the band. Even though the group consisted mostly of friends, it became a serious project relatively quickly, a project with big dreams and goals that most artists never reach. But Linkin Park managed to surpass their wildest dreams with their debut record, Hybrid Theory, which became the best-selling album of 2001. By 2005, it sold 10 million copies, thus reaching diamond certification in the US. Today, Hybrid Theory is the best-selling debut record of 21st century, with 27 million records sold worldwide. And the number is just rising, as the 20th anniversary edition of Hybrid Theory dropped a few weeks ago. Let's take a look back at how Linkin Park managed to find so much success and resonance with the youth of early 2000s. Mark Wakefield, the original singer and co-founder of Xero, parted ways with the band in '98, which left them looking for his replacement.
They were looking for a singer, and they'd been auditioning singers for like almost 4 months in LA, and every vocalist in LA did not pass the test, so they had to seek elsewhere. And we had a mutual friend, Scott Harrington, who called me up and said, you know, I have a band, you should really just check it out, and I'll send you a demo, and he did, and within a matter of days, I had cut my version of the demo and sent it in, and I was in LA, and they kept me there ever since, chained in the studio.
When Chester Bennington joined Xero, the band was reinvigorated and felt that a name change was in order. So in 1999, they renamed themselves to Hybrid Theory.
We don't want people to listen to our song and go, okay, this is the hip-hop part, okay, that's the rock influence. We don't want to be rock/rap. We want to be Hybrid Theory. We want people to hear our sound and identify that by the name of our band.
It's mixed media, baby.
Even though initially it took some time getting used to Chester and him finding his voice within the band, Hybrid Theory soon had great chemistry with newly hired vocalists and made great progress in writing a more polished and well-rounded material, which became their self-titled EP in 1999. But the blend of different genres in their music was not as fluent as they wanted it to be just yet. Still, the band's overall catalog has grown considerably throughout the years, so they felt it was time to make a demo tape with a new singer for a potential LP record. As a result, a compilation of songs that the band felt confident with was made. And with this demo tape, Hybrid Theory began their hunt for a record label deal. Of course, the demo tape was sent out to all the record labels that might have been interested in their material. But they also had an unconventional approach of promoting their music on the internet through their website and emailing with some of their first fans, which was not that common 20 years ago. They carried on with this routine even when promoting the album Hybrid Theory. Most acts usually promoted themselves by playing live shows, but Hybrid Theory had a different strategy. Their fan base began to grow online before they even began playing live actively.
When we shopped for our deal, we really weren't playing out that much. We pretty much just focused all of our energy on the songs, and that really was our basis for what we wanted to do. And then after we got the songs together, we put the demo together, and then we started showcasing for the labels and doing a few shows here and there. So really, we kind of skipped the whole let's try to go get signed by playing at a lot of venues in front of a lot of people. So we started to basically look on our own and on doing it our own way. And so we started developing a street team and using the money that we would generate from shows to make product that we could send out to our fans that we had gathered either via the internet or locally. And then the gentleman that was working for our publishing company got a job at Warner Brothers, and that's eventually how the deal got worked out with Warner Brothers. Was all of a sudden there was somebody interested at Warner Brothers in what we were doing.
The gentleman Chester was talking about was in fact Jeff Blue, who by that time became a vice president of Warner Brothers Records, who insisted to bring Hybrid Theory as his first signing under his newly acquired contract, even though the band was previously rejected by Warner Records on 3 occasions. They finally got their deal in April of 2000, largely thanks to Jeff Blue.
I don't necessarily know where we were when we got signed, but I know where we went after we got signed.
Where'd you go?
We went to Hooters.
Yeah, Hooters.
And like, I don't know, like I'm like a pretty innocent guy, so like that for me was pretty
That's
pretty crazy. That was me going all out right there.
Yeah, he wanted to go bowling, and we were like, bro, this is a special occasion. You can't go bowling. You gotta just take it up one step, please.
Upon being signed, the band was advised to change their name in order to avoid being confused with another promising group named Hybrid, which was also signed to Warner Records. This prompted yet another and final name change to Linkin Park.
Linkin Park, a place where you hung around?
It's a place in Santa Monica in Los Angeles. It's named after the American president, Abraham Lincoln. We spelled it differently so that we could get the web domain name for a far cheaper price.
Far
fewer Deutschmarks.
And the thing is, it's
as one
everywhere.
would
In
say.
every town there is this Linkin Park, so it's like being the town's band.
Actually, ironically, like the cool thing is like when we show up, like when we toured the States, everywhere we went, we were like locals. Like all the kids would come up and be like, "Hey, dude, we live in Lincoln Park too, man. Which street did you grow up on?" And we're just like.
The joke was that we could never be like a professional band because we were always a local band.
And the fact that we can't really play our instrument.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially Brad.
However, even after being signed, the record label was skeptical of Linkin Park's initial recordings. Their skepticism went as far as suggesting to fire or demote the founder and rapper Mike Shinoda and focus solely on the rock aspect of the band's sound by making Chester the only singer and center of attention.
They were trying to just make Mike a keyboard player or not in the band at all. There were secret sit-downs with me going, "You're gonna be the vocalist of the band and we wanna go the rock direction. This is where," I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, this is not even my band. Like, I just got here like 9 months ago."
Because of this intrusive nature of the record label, the band was forced to cut all communications with the label unless absolutely necessary. In the end, Bennington and the rest of the band stood by Shinoda and were not willing to compromise the initial vision of the band. Strangely, the band's image was also questioned. Considering bands like Korn, Deftones and Limp Bizkit were on the rise, Linkin Park's image was very much similar to theirs, especially taking into consideration that Linkin Park always cited Deftones as one of their main influences, perhaps because none of the members had as colorful of an image as some of their counterparts did. In an attempt to fix this, the label brought in an image consultant who suggested that the band should have a gimmick.
People were like, that we were working with were saying, you know, we want you to change this and change that. This guy has this gimmick where he wears a red hat, and you guys need a gimmick. Like just every show, like you could kick shoes off and that'd be your thing.
Bro, that's like your thing. Or like, you can put Joe in a fucking chemistry set with beakers and when are you going to shut the fuck up and leave?
And overall, there was little faith in Linkin Park in the early stages.
We had support from a couple people and within the record company. But the top guy at the time was not a fan. Made it very clear that he could care less about the record and that we were literally like the last item on the priority list. You know, there's a lot of shady stuff going on, even to the point where the guy who was behind us in the beginning eventually started falling into the pressure of like changing us to make us more like other things out there. And we as a band just stick together and say, it's either we're going to do this or you can just let us go.
If you're still watching, you probably know that Hybrid Theory turned 20 years old on 24th of October, and I thought this was a good opportunity to talk about this album in great detail. But unfortunately, I did not manage to finish the entire video on time, so I had to split it in 2 parts. And the second part I will be releasing within a week. I think that Hybrid Theory is quite an important album that affected a lot of people, including myself, and I think Linkin Park did a great job releasing this 20th anniversary edition of the album, from which I used most of the images you saw in this video. Anyway, enough of rambling, as I will have a chance to talk about the album in part 2. If you liked the video, please drop a like, and if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. And I hope to see you back next week for part 2. Take care.